In the eyes of a child, there are not only 7 wonders of the world, there are 7 million. This quote sums up exactly what little Jason has lost. 7 million wonders. You see, kids are not amazed about what we say. They are amazed about what they see. Little Jason would not be able to see something for the first time ever again. Little Jason would not be able to open up a gift on his birthday or holiday or for any special or random occasion and experience that element of surprise, that emotion full of joy. Jason would not be able to do something like learn how to ride a bike or to truly run free like a child of his age should be able to. As we have already learned, little Jason can't even fully experience and appreciate a childhood game like hide and seek. And this all was preventable. At the age of 6, most kids are learning how to become more independent, not Jason. Jason is learning how to depend more on people and things, all because his physician failed to perform the required surgery that would have, not could have or should have, would have prevented his blindness if done in a timely manner. I thought about Jason a few weeks ago when I went to Zooland with my 2 children. They had so much fun. It was so much excitement, full of so much joy, running from one station to the next, looking at their favorite animals, petting their favorite animals, taking pictures of their favorite animals. And I had so much excitement because of their excitement. They say the eyes are the windows to the soul. My kids had those windows wide open. And I looked through them and I seen their soul full of emotion. And that's when I realized little Jason won't be able to experience special moments like that. In any moment of excitement, his mother, his father, when they look through the windows of Jason's eyes, they won't see that sparkle. They will see a blank stare looking back at them. Counsel suggests that I will try and ask you to rely on sympathy. And no doubt about it, Jason and his family, they deserve sympathy. But I don't need to ask you to use sympathy to render a verdict divorced from reason. I don't need to actually use sympathy because you don't need sympathy to appreciate the value of being able to have sight. You don't need sympathy to consider what you would need to be paid to go back in time and go through life without the privilege of being able to see. You don't need sympathy to consider what it means to a child to experience life through the power of sight and the incredible cost of depriving that child of that eyesight for the next 66 years he's expected to live on this beautiful earth. You don't need sympathy to understand medical bills, current or future, hard numbers. And better yet, you don't need sympathy to understand what pain and suffering is. Use your experience. Use your common sense. Use your collective wisdom. But you need to decide what this tragedy has cost little Jason. Experiencing life through sight is beautiful. It is invaluable. Just reflect for a minute. Think about all the childhood cartoons we grew up on, reading our favorite childhood books, dressing like our favorite superheroes. These things help shape who we are. And counsel points to 2 individuals who have overcome these adversities to go on to live fulfilling lives, Stevie Wonder and Helen Keller. Unlike Stevie Wonder and Helen Keller, who lost their eyesight at infancy to natural causes, Jason knows exactly what he lost. because he experienced 3.5 years of his life with good eyesight. Therefore, he has 3.5 years of memories, of moments that he misses. Those moments that now causes emotional distress because he can't have them back. Moments like being able to see his mother's face when she tucks him into bed at night. That has to make it so much tougher to cope with. Nonetheless, all three do share something in common, which is blindness. And that's tough, no matter how we slice or dice it. It's still tough to deal with. But by counsel pointing to Helen Keller and Stevie Wonder, he seems to suggest that their losses are not incredibly valuable. We all know of people who have been forced into tragedy. It happens every day. Maybe someone loses a child or a limb or the ability to hear or speak, but just because these people who are affected don't wither up and die does not mean that their losses are not incredibly valuable. Jason will go on to live. This 6-year-old courageous child has already shown us that. He has tried to adapt, to live a life of some type of normalcy because it brings happiness to him. But it's still a tragedy. It is still a tragedy. He will continue to struggle. His life expectancy is 72 years old. He's 6. That's 66 more years, ladies and gentlemen. 66 more years of continual care and assistance. Experts have already stated that he will need adaptive equipment, institutional schooling, training. These things cost, right? They're not free. So no matter what happens in this court today, Jason will continue to work hard and pay the price for the rest of his life for a tragedy that could have been prevented. Minimizing his loss, pretending that is less serious than what it is, that would not be justice for Jason. We value sight, right? Of course we do. And we pay good money for things that we value, things that we want to experience. Let me just mention a few of those things. The Major League Baseball report for 2013 salaries released that the top 22 baseball players were paid $20 million to $29 million a year. Forbes released that the top 25 entertainers were paid $33 million to $110 million a year. We don't find these things worth more than something so valuable as our sight, do we? Our 5 gifts, our 5 privileges, our 5 senses are gifts beyond any gifts. Just take a moment to think about what Jason lost. Counsel says that we're spinning the lottery wheel here. This is not a lottery. No matter what happens, Jason loses. There is no outcome where Jason wins. We're not spinning the lottery, ladies and gentlemen. We're helping to ease, to the best of our ability, 66 years of pain and suffering. My father didn't tell me how to live. He let me watch him do it. That quote captures exactly what this case is about. It recognizes the amazing asset in the child's ability to learn from the world around him, to learn how to socialize and to interact from the world around him, to learn how to become the man that he wants to be by watching his father or those that he looks up to. The physician took that from him. And he wants to apologize and say that he would switch places with Jason if he could. Well, that's not possible. Let's stay focused on what's possible. The physician took an oath and a commitment to be held at a higher standard than the layman. Jason was at the mercy of that physician. Jason, he still has a childlike hope. And he believes that there are a group of people in this courtroom today who will represent what justice stands for. He believes that there are a group of people in today who will preserve whatever wonders he has left. I know it's hard to put a price on something so invaluable, but you must do it. Like I said, eyesight, it's a privilege. It's a privilege that most of us who have it, we take it for granted until tragedy hits and we realize just how precious that privilege is. But seeking justice and finding her and having her speak for us when our voice is just not being heard, that's a right. Jason had a privilege taken from him. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking you to please not take away his right. Thank you.